What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fam, 49er gang? This your boy 49er Dion here, back with some breaking news. So I know that a lot of the outlets have already touched on this. I was at work. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to y'all in time. But Raheem the Dream Mosterati, whatever you want to call him, everything, has requested a trade. Now, when I first heard about the news, I was highly upset. It was definitely frustrating for me. But I said, give me a second, man. Let me get some more details on this. So, it looks like the last couple of months, Mostert's agent has been requesting a raise for his client, which would make sense. Raheem pretty much was the bell cow. He did a great job for us throughout the season and throughout the playoffs. Y'all don't remember his monster game against Green Bay, where he basically carried us the whole game and took us into the Super Bowl. He did that, and Mostert did sign a deal where it was 3 years, and I believe it was like 8.7 million or 8.5 million, somewhere around there. But when Mostert signed that deal initially, basically he was being paid as a special teams ace and possibly the team's third running back. So the thing is that's why we gave him the type of deal that we gave him. We didn't expect him to wind up turning around and being the number one running back and doing what he did. Last year when he was playing, he started out great and then he broke his forearm and then he had to have surgery on it again. So I can definitely understand everybody's frustration with him asking for a pay raise, but then again I can see his end of things. He has his wife, he has 2 kids, to feed, and he did definitely, earn himself pretty much a new contract. So what I would say is basically it looks like from the information that I got from Twitter from Ian Rappaport was that Raheem wasn't even asking for an absorbent amount of money. He basically was saying, pay me like y'all paying TC. I want to get paid like Tevin Coleman. I shouldn't be getting paid chump change around here when I'm doing most of the work, which I can understand. And the thing is, as players get older, teams get cheaper with them. They don't want to pay them at an older, the older you are, the cheaper they want to get with you, pretty much. That's how they always work. That's how it's been since the beginning of time. When it comes to contracts in football, the older you are, the less valued you are. And he's a running back. Running back is a very devalued position in the NFL. This guy is a dual threat. He can run, he can catch, even though they used him more so for running rather than catching. He did catch that TD against the Saints. He did catch 2 TDs throughout the year. He had 8 rushing touchdowns in the year. So the thing is, what his agent was saying was just pay him like the starting running back, man. Give him the money y'all giving Tevin Coleman. I just want 4.5 like everybody else. And the 49ers obviously haven't budged on that. So that is the reason why he is requesting a trade. He currently does have 2 years left on the deal. And we don't have to honor his trade demands. We can keep him, and he will have to play under that. The unfortunate thing for Raheem Mostert is he did sign the contract, so basically he's not in a position where he's making enough money to hold out or to sit out of training camp or say, I'm not going to play if you don't pay me. He wasn't making that kind of bread. The man had been through about, I believe, 6 or 7 teams before he even got to us, and we gave him a break. We gave him the chance. He was a special teams ace, and when all of our running backs started going down like flies with injuries, he came in, and as I stated, he was doing great, but then he broke his forearm, so he had to be on the sidelines. Last year was his breakout year. Now, for me, I'm always the type of person, I need to see at least 2 years of consistency before we start talking money in any way, shape, or form. But in today's NFL and in the climate today, with everything going on with the coronavirus and all that stuff, you want to get paid as much as you possibly can to be able to take care of your family and do what you need to do. So do I understand his request for an increase in pay? Yes, I agree. I understand that, and I understand where he's coming from. And I think he should have been paid more. I mean, me, honestly, for Tevin Coleman, I thought he might have got cut this year anyway because we have so many running backs. But it looks like they're going to keep him on the squad. And, him and TC, Raheem and TC basically were trading, going in and out and running the ball. And basically they would go with the hot hand. Whoever was hot at the time was the one getting the carries. Most of the time it was Raheem. And he did perform very well for us. So I thought he was in line for, a pay raise in some way, shape, or form anyway. But, I watched a piece earlier with Grant Cohn and his dad. And Grant Cohn's father was saying, he was questioning whether the 49ers are a little cheap. And looking at it from a standpoint of whether do we have the cap space to be able to give him an extra, $2 million a year. Yeah, we do. We could do that. But we haven't even gotten George Kittle signed yet. We traded DeForest Buckner, but DeForest Buckner, I don't think that was us being cheap. I think that was us saying you're not Aaron Donald and you don't do what Aaron Donald does. You are a three technique. You play on the inside. You might switch sides on the inside, but you stay on the inside. You don't go outside, and that's it. So that's the reason why we weren't going to pay him that money. But the George Kittle deal should be done. We should be giving that man $13 million a year. I can see that. It's definitely worth the money. You know what I'm saying? For him being the great blocker and the great pass catcher that he is. It's like having a offensive lineman, tight end, and a wide receiver all in one. Slash fullback to an extent because of his blocking prowess. But I don't think that Mostert's request was outrageous. I would have to say that it's fair. I was thinking to get a man at least $5 million a year. If you're gonna restructure the deal, he's not getting Zeke Elliott type money, but I mean $5 million a year is more than feasible for a running back to be a starter. And I don't think that that's what he was asking for is an absorbent amount of cash. So I'm not gonna jump on the gravy train and say that he's wrong for asking for more money. I will state that I feel like they could have gave him that, to keep him in line with being paid, as the top running back because he did do a lot of work for us last year, and he didn't ask for an absorbent amount of money. Asking for a couple extra mil is not crazy. Like when you go now, I could see if Raheem came in and said, "I want $10 million a year." At that, okay, slow your roll, pump your brakes. But asking for a couple extra mil and asking to be paid like Tevin Coleman when Tevin Coleman didn't do as much as he did last year. I mean, Coleman was I'm not saying that Coleman wasn't productive and he wasn't good for us. Don't get me wrong. People don't twist or misconstrue my words in that way. I'm just saying that Raheem was definitely more valuable to us than TC. Down the stretch when we needed, somebody to be the bell cow back. And I understand it. Like I said, man, at the beginning of the video, man's got a family to feed. He got 2 little children and he got his wife. And he just wants to make sure he's compensated properly for the services that he has been providing. So I understand that to the fullest. I'm not gonna lie, man. We got Parag Marante in there negotiating deals and stuff, man. That man. Now Parag, I'm gonna say he's a little frugal. He can be a little frugal, His contracts have so many ins and outs to them. Where we got certain outs if after this, that, and the third. I mean, he could whip up something real quick to say, okay, Raheem, we give you $5 million based upon this. Throw it even if you put it in incentive bonuses and you make sure that, these things are something that's attainable and feasible, I think it will work out. But I'm not going to say that Raheem is wrong because he wants extra money to be able to feed his family. And then technically speaking, Tevin Coleman making $4.55 million. You really think it hurts to give Raheem that? I'd rather give it to Raheem than TC because at the end of the day, as you get older as a running back, you're devalued. Nobody wants to pay you. Your shelf life as a running back, usually in the NFL, I think it's like 3 years at a max. The average NFL career lasts that time. If you get 10 years in it as a running back, man, you have made it. And they don't pay running backs like they used to, back in the day. You don't see running backs getting large contracts just because they are undervalued and underpaid. Zeke reset the market, so did Todd Gurley. But look at what happened with Gurley. Now he in Atlanta playing for probably about the same Raheem gonna make this year. So I'm not gonna say I'm upset at him, but it would suck if they did trade him. But I think what will happen is the 49ers like him so much, they'll make the trade request outrageous. They're probably going to ask for a first or second round pick for Raheem Mostert. And you're not going to get it for an undrafted free agent. The guy produced. He was great last year, but nobody's going to give you a first or second round pick for a running back. It's just not going to happen. We might be able to pull off possibly a third at a bare minimum. But if we get anything less than a first or second round pick, we need to get 2 picks for him. You got to give us a third and a fourth and a fifth, something. John Lynch should be willing to deal him. But I say at a bare minimum, I hope the 49ers go back to the drawing board and they try to get him some money and try to get him in there and make sure that things are good because unfortunately for Raheem Mostert, he's under contract and he is not necessarily in any position to sit out with the kind of money that he's making per year. I'm not saying he's done with his money or anything like that. I'm not implying or insinuating any of that. But what I am saying is it's going to be really hard for him to sit out because he doesn't make a ton of money. It's not like he's sitting on, 30, 40, 50 mil and he can wait and kick back and be like, nah, I ain't got to do nothing. He has to work. He's got to be able to feed his family. So hopefully they get this figured out and fixed and we do not trade him. I would hate to see him go because I love what he did for us last year and I think honestly he could be even better this year. But if we do have to see him go, unfortunately, we have to wave goodbye to one of our best players from last year, man. And hopefully we can get him and Kittle done. And I definitely don't want to see KB dancing anywhere else than, San Francisco. But that's all, man. Raheem the Dream has requested a trade per his agent due to the fact that they don't want to pay him like the top running back that he is on the squad. He was only asking for about $4.55 million as far as like what Tevin Coleman was get per Ian Rappaport from Twitter. But that's that breaking news. I'm Dion, your 49ers reporter, and I'm out.